Good evening and welcome to our new studio. We're just getting ready to tee it up with David Whitley, the Gator basketball team, in overtime against Michigan 81 all. So stay tuned for David Whitley and more on the basketball game. We'll find out along with you what's going to happen tonight. Plus, we got some updates on some changes in football every day or more. Can't hardly keep up with it. Stand by. David Whitley joins us next right here on the Buddy Martin Show.
It's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening and welcome to the program. And you probably noticed it's a different location. We are on assignment the next couple of weeks, and we will be broadcasting from here. Tonight, Brendan Martin is not joining us. He'll be out and about. And basketball. What a game. Tied at 81. You keep me in the loop. David Baldoff and Tony Perimeter and all the rest of you folks who are watching basketball. My back is turned to it. If you'll keep us updated with that, let's go get David Whitley right now, see what he's finding out about the world out there. It's my pleasure always to have David Whitley on the program. He's back. Hello, David. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm actually, the orange and blue room. The game is to your back. It's to my side.
Yeah.
Well,
you can. I have to turn all the way around to see it right over here, so I can't see these things.
It's the old tonight. Karnak says it's 83 right now.
Yeah, 83 all. So my impressions were, as I was watching, I made notes myself, I really like the way this team scraps. They're fighters. The ball on the floor, they're like a hungry dog. It's their bone, They go after it big time, and I like the way they play hard. I like the way they rebound offensively, too. They're certainly good at that. But I don't like the way they shoot free throws. And offensively, they're helter-skelter. Can't count on anybody to really sort of tonight. It was Samuel, obviously, who had a big start. And the guard play early on, David, they couldn't stop McDaniel. My gosh, that guy's going crazy. Seemed like there's always some small guard tears him up. Their defensive guard and their offensive scoring on the guard is not good. But give them credit. They're playing pretty well offensively and made some key buckets down the stretch to stay in the game. 83 all now, right?
Yeah. I took a quick glance at the stats. And I think it's amazing they're got an overtime when you consider that they're starting two guards, Kugel and Walter Clayton. Yeah. They're combined, 4 for 20.
Yeah, really poor. And two of my favorite players, and I don't know what's wrong with Clayton. He just got married, had a baby, he played well a couple of weeks ago. He couldn't throw it in the ocean tonight. He made defensive lapses. He didn't pass the ball. He gave the ball away on a turnover right down the last couple of minutes that he shouldn't have. So he's not having a good stretch right now. But I think this team has a lot of talent. I don't believe Todd has corralled it all yet. I think the kind of team that's going to develop nicely because they have some depth. Those freshman bigs are really good.
Yeah, that's been the surprise of the year. I mean, you'd heard whispers that they felt they sort of pulled a coup getting Condon out of Australia, sort of, sort of like he would be the positive version of a virus that came to America that nobody was suspecting and caught on. And suddenly said, "Oh, this guy, he's got some game." And I mean, it's good to have the big hang glutton back there. Yeah, I mean, so front line, which is where they've been so lacking in the last couple of years. If Castleton wasn't there, they had nothing. And now they have a bunch of bodies that they can throw out there and that are playing well. It's just they haven't played a complete game, nothing near there lately, though. I mean, you figure all the pieces are there, but it's just, but this is, it's basketball. It's December 19th. Yeah. You pace your, in a sense, you don't want to be playing your best basketball in December. We've playing 2 months from now. So you see the pieces are there, but you would like to see, from Florida's standpoint, it coming together a little bit quicker. I mean, this, it's shaping up. I'm glancing about 85, 84, whatever happened, this is the kind of game, win or lose, but they really need to get, some wins over these quality teams, the Michigans, the quad one type teams because that come in 2.5 months when it is come time to pick. They're not going to be a 1 or 2 seed anywhere, or 3 seed. They're going to be in that thing where people are going to be looking back and say these December games are going to count.
Yeah, you're right, and it is they're 6-5 on the year. Michigan is one of those teams that you like to have a W against, and a good feel here in the Jumpman Classic. A chance to show off and to be paired up with Michigan is good for the program. So I think maybe we got our hopes up a little bit early on, especially when they beat Florida State so badly, and we've had players come in and out. I love Ronnie Kugel's game, but he just cannot get it together right now. He just cannot.
He's sort of the mystery right now. You just wonder, is it a sophomore slump kind of thing? He doesn't have the same intensity that he seemed to have last year. Maybe it'll come around, but you don't see it quite yet. I mean, I'm not saying he's gold bricking it or anything, but just reading the body language, you just wonder if something is going on that he just somebody needs to light a fire in him a little bit. And
what I like about him, though, is that even on nights when he's not shooting the ball well, he finds a way to contribute. Mm-hmm. He can defend. He's a good passer. He's unselfish. I'm just surprised he hasn't scored more because he's capable. But this team is, I guess, about what we expected, especially with a bunch of guys that hadn't played together before. But there's some talent on the team. The guard play's got to get better. I think Pullen played well tonight. I think he's showing promise of the only true point guard they got there. And Clayton's game is just not there right now. So anyway, so we're talking basketball here. Before we leave those, any update real quick? Look over there and tell us what it is.
And we got it 87-86 in favor of Michigan with 59 seconds left. It looks like they just turned the ball over. Mm-hmm. So Florida's got possession. And away we go. And then Juwan Howard's looking up at the scoreboard with sort of a bad. Now he's smiling, thinking, "Oh, we got
Yeah. I get that. I get this feeling. I don't know why. I keep thinking this is a game where Michigan's going to make a 3 at the end. Florida's going to lose by a point. That's the kind of feeling I have about this game. But we'll see.
Got that vibe. All right. 3-pointer and misses, and Florida gets the rebound. Yeah. Okay. I know you. I got to admit, it's hard to take eyes off it on this because it's 39 seconds left.
Yeah, watch it here.
I think everybody is watching this too. Oh, there's a good defensive play. Somebody's gonna have. Yeah. I don't know what. Well, they had 3 shots, 4 shots.
Got it back.
Yeah. All right, now you got a foul. So.
They had their chance right there.
Yeah.
Had their chance right there. So, all right. Well, David, let's go ahead and play a commercial while we're waiting, and then I want to get into some football news. Plenty of that going on. And I think we're going to have tonight, I believe we'll be hearing momentarily from Lauren Meadows, who set this game, and then Franz will join us at the end to give us his 2 thoughts worth here. So let's hear from our friends at Belden Law. We'll be back and wrap up the game and start with the football start. Jeffrey, look forward to a great 2024 and being together with you and your wife to celebrate some special occasions.
Yeah, and buddy, I want to tell our Gator fans out there that Todd Golden is the real deal. Okay. In 1 year, he's put together this really tall team that's going to out-rebound just about everybody that they play. They've got some great shooters. We got 3 or 4, guards in there that are awesome.
Yep.
And I predict that the Gators are going to be a ranked team by the end of the season, and that you wait and see. They're going to make some noise around March Madness.
Sounds exciting. You'll be right there to report from courtside. Give us the inside scoop, Jeffrey.
Yeah, and January 6th is Meldon Law Day. We're playing Kentucky at the O-Dome. It's Meldon Law Day. We've got special shirts for everybody.
Giving stuff away again like you do all over the place. You're giving stuff away.
But it's going to be it's Kentucky, buddy. What do you got to say?
What are you going to do? Be a big night.
The home game against Kentucky is always the big game of the year.
Maybe I'll come sit with you tonight. So,
okay, January 6th, buddy.
All right, Jeffrey, have a happy holiday season. The best to you. And don't forget, Meldon Law, they do not back down. And they wish you a happy holiday season.
Yeah, happy holidays to everybody.
All right, thank you, Jeffrey. 89-86. Florida's down now with the ball. And what is it? 18 ticks, 19 seconds to go. So this will be.
We need another commercial.
Yeah, I think they're going to. Yeah, I think they'll go for 2 here and not 3.
No, he's shooting the 3 and rims out. Oh, there's offense. All right, back out. Oh, there it is. They tied it.
Got to 2. Got it. Wow, got it.
Yeah. So 8 seconds left, though.
Yeah.
Play by play. Here it is, jacking it up for everything. Nope, going to double OT.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about football. What have you heard?
Before we do, let me interject.
Yeah, sure.
For the big hockey audience, I did see where the Lightning won 6-0.
Okay, all right. There's that guy. There's that one guy we got. It's Lightning fan. So yeah, good to know. All right, so David, there's a lot going on. Most of it is unsubstantiated, but there's a lot of good rumors. There are some changes going on. Franz Beard reported a couple of things today. What have you heard, or have you heard anything lately about any additional players in the portal? Have you heard about any progress that Billy's made? Any thoughts about, looks like the recruiting class might hold together. Give me your assessment of where they stand right now. First on the portal.
Yeah. I wish you'd ask me about recruiting, because I'd tell you, I can tell you everything in 24 hours. Everything you want to know.
Yeah.
Portal
tomorrow.
Yeah. Portal, I'd say ask me January 2nd when that curtain draws close, because I honestly do not know.
Well, they lost Phil Samey, however you pronounce his name. That recruiting.
From the recruit,
Texas. Yeah.
I'm talking from the portal aspect. Yeah. There's 1,000 guys in it. I've got
the big guy from Penn, didn't they? The big tackle from Penn, right?
Yeah, they got the tackle. But all these things, before they happened, I didn't know. I hadn't read anywhere that they were in on this guy, blah blah blah, or they got and it was good that they did, because people were starting to get a little antsy because they hadn't gotten anyone. Then Sunday they get the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman, which are two areas of need, and they both look, the proverbial on paper, like the kind of guys that can come in and help right away, because those are positions that need their help. And then they get the guy from Oregon, who I couldn't tell you anything about, but he comes from a good program.
Yeah, well, he was considered to be one of the top players in the portal in his position.
Yeah. But so far, if you balance it out, they've lost more in the portal than they bought in. But of course, that's because the people leave earlier, and now they got to start bringing them in. So on balance, right now it's a net minus, but there's still 2 weeks to go before portal shop closes for this year.
It's hard to tell, because some of those players are players that Billy wanted to leave.
Oh yeah,
and you don't really know which ones. Looks to me like they've lost 4 or 5 they didn't want to lose. Mm-hmm. And they've lost quite a few they did want to lose.
Yeah, it's hard to spin when you lose arguably your best, and Yuman Mielen on defense and Etienne on offense. That it's a good. Those are two that nobody would want to lose. But frankly, every team's had some of those. I don't think everybody's had it quite as bad as Florida losing that top end kind of guys. But yeah, the 3/4 of those are the kind of guys that they didn't kick out the door, but they weren't sorry to see them go just because they got it for roster management's sake. They needed them to go to upgrade those positions.
Yeah, see that space.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I think a lot depends on tomorrow, and if they can sign everybody they want and hold, that'll affect a portal decision or two. I'm glad that signing day is finally here.
Really?
So, nobody is more happy than the real recruiting, the guys at 24/7 and On 3 who have to track these kids, and that's their bread and butter. And tomorrow's tomorrow's D-Day for them. It's the craziest day of the year, and they'll be those recruiting websites, they'll be getting tens of millions of hits throughout the day, all over the country.
Well, let's see what some of the comments are. Toby Farmer, good evening, buddy. Go Gators. Thank you, Toby. Florida Boy says, no matter where the class ranks after going 6 and 7, signing Lagway, McCray, and Graham is massive. Makes a good point. Those are 3 good signings for sure.
Oh, yeah. And, who knows? You see, these guys, they may flip, blah, blah, blah.
And they may transfer next year, so who knows? I mean,
you can't forecast it, but just taking it by tomorrow and assuming they hold what they have, I think people really would consider it a success. If there are no more defections and if they can sign another couple of guys, I think he wouldn't be just blowing smoke if he comes out there and says we're happy. I think he'd be given everything. I mean, in a way it'll be disappointing because for so long they were ranked number 3 in these kind of things, and they'll probably end up if things hold in the 7 to 8 range, which that's still pretty good. I mean, when you consider that the other people in that neighborhood, but it's sort of like you think you're going to get the Lamborghini for Christmas, and instead you get the Cadillac, Cadillac is it still beats the Prius that has been parked in the driveway the last few Christmases before now. So
are the 7-year-old Lincoln, one. So,
all
right. So here's a few of the comments. David Baldoff, who by the way is one of our original members. Nice to say, by the way, Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Thank you, David. Appreciate that very much. It's nice. Let's see. Let's see. Baldoff says we can still get Smith. I've heard that. I have no idea. He's a wide receiver from Ohio State. He spent a lot of time down here. Obviously, he and Lagway are buddies. I don't know whether that's true. You hear that, but whether it's true or not, I couldn't tell you. Be a great get, of course. Let's see. J&J Trucking LLC. Unhappy about some of them playing basketball. Let's see. We are so sloppy. All right, JJ Trucking, very unhappy tonight. A lot of comments. Let's see. Let's jump on J&J for a second. Pullen been playing good. You're right, Toby. He has been playing good.
That's where the depth of this team comes in.
Yeah,
which they haven't had much of the last few years. But if their starting guards weren't playing well last, there wasn't much to turn to. But now they've got, he's got really he goes 8 to 9 deep without much of a drop off.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so people are getting upset at J&J Trucking for too many comments, and he's been called out on spamming. Robert Turner says, quit spamming. David Arnold, football is going to be good. Looking forward to surprise a few people. Maybe that would be nice. Let's see what else we got here from J&J Trucking. J&J, take a little break, buddy. Take a breath. Robert Turner, let's see. Slow your roll. You're right, Robert. David Arnold, I want to fight and a hockey. I went to a fight in a hockey game. Yeah, that's an old one. Nothing else here of anything of kind, except for one guy going off a bunch. Okay, let's get to a little bit of news that Franz kind of broke earlier this week, and he'll be joining us at the end of the game. What's the score, David?
We are now at 91-91. Just it's still 4 minutes 18 seconds. So
here's a couple of tidbits. All right.
We don't have to be rude to the audience and turn all our attention to the TVs just yet.
Yeah, right. Apparently, Franz says Corey Foreman, the former 5-star defensive end we were in it to the end with, is transferring out of Southern Cal. There's a lot we don't know yet about who's really going to do and what. This is going to come out. This kid I met once before, Bryce Langston from Vanguard and LSU, now in the portal. Bryce Langston was considered to be a 5-star when he was like a senior. And I talked to him a long time. He wanted to go to LSU. Well, I guess it didn't work out that well. So now he's in the portal. He was a heck of a player in high school. I know that. Good luck to you, Bryce. Now, Franz says, no, Franz didn't say it. Florida football is about to see a familiar name in the transfer portal as a player who started his career in Gainesville is back in the portal looking for a third school. Josiah Pierre, remember the 2019 recruiting class from Mount Dora, Florida, committed to the Gators out of high school but only stayed in the Swamp for one season. All right, so there's a little bit of news here. Yeah, so a lot going on here. I noticed that there's been a lot of talk about the stadium change, David, since we discussed this last time. I think everybody's like saying, okay, I can't get my arms around the design of the stadium right now. I'm trying to see the football team is going to be competitive. And one thing I will say is this. I'll give Billy this. He did have a competitive team. It wasn't the team we wanted to see on the field, but we've seen moments out there when the Gators were not competitive, and they were competing, and they were playing hard, and lost a couple of close ones. No moral victories, but I will say, if you can't play hard, you got no shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they did play hard, and you can see when a team has given up, and I mean a different league, but if you saw that LA Chargers game the other night, where I mean that was an embarrassment. You know, they were just mailing it in, and they shouldn't pick up their paychecks the next day. But they just, you could tell, but there was none of that this year with Florida. They lost, but it was never for a lack of effort, you know, on their part, which is, you know, lack of a lot of other things. But you're right. Their hearts and minds are in the right spot. So I think Billy's getting them there with that. It's everything else that he's got to get them to.
Yeah.
And you know, that's we'll be talking a lot about that in the next 6 months. But you know, tomorrow, I'm just glad tomorrow it has said something real, something tangible for people to sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
You know, finally after months of, you know, this is it. Their sign. And as you said, you know, a third. I mean, if stats hold, a fourth to a third of them won't be here in 2 years, but that's just the way the game is. But 4, we got to just judge it based on today, tomorrow, and who they, you know, and it'll be something to actually be able to analyze and say, okay, this is what they got, and you know, who will we seeing in spring practice coming in and get a look at them. Although, you know, it's interesting, the best rookie or freshman they had last year, as it turned, you know, Wilson, he didn't come in. He went the old-fashioned route. He stayed in high school, you know, until he graduated.
Yeah.
And you know, then he just came in, and when you're, you know, if you're good, you're going to play and talented. But you can just see the anticipation now. You know, when Lagway shows up, I mean, he'll be registering for class, you know, in theory in January, and we start counting the days till spring practice and all. And the rest of these guys and seeing what they got. But, you know, as far as the guys who need to make the impact are the guys that like the offensive lineman and defensive lineman they got out of the portal on Sunday, whose names I, you know, completely.
Yeah, right.
Now. I will say I was impressed with the defensive lineman, just the fact that he's all academic, you know, in the Ivy League coming over.
Right.
So, well, all right. You know, at least you know, the team GPA will get a nice boost.
Yeah.
You know,
good basketball team up 99, 93. So they pull out a win there. Yeah.
You know, while we were yammering, they put on a 6-0 run.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is quite the variety when you for 1 hour they're getting a guy from the Ivy League, and Penn the next guy they're getting a guy from San Diego State. So you can tell that, they're it's definitely going global. With
yeah, really. Yeah.
wherever it
Yeah.
the clearinghouse, and I'm sure they're doing they they got that war room, and they're aware of it, and they're making their run at people.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how a guy be in the portal, then boom, he appears, and you just scramble the bombers, and if you have you hope you have a relationship there that's existing, and that's what a lot of recruiting has now gotten into. Even if you lose a guy tomorrow, as you said, a third of these guys are going to be back on the market in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to get up there tomorrow if a guy flips on you and do anything that will
egg on your face.
Yeah, because if you finish number 2, you may still be number 2 when he's looking for somewhere else. You may be number 1 when he's looking for somewhere else in 2 years.
For sure. We're going to go ahead and do a commercial. We should be getting our guys quickly here. It's pretty soon basketball game. And the other thing I'm wondering about is the coaching staff. I have heard nothing else about the defensive line coach. Have you heard anything, David?
No, not the defensive line. I mean, there have been, I think, other moves are afoot in the staff. I think there could be a lot of non full-time assistant shifting around, and in that massive 120 person staff.
Yeah.
Maybe on the strength and conditioning. I think you're going to see some changes there.
Yeah.
Moving around, and those kind of things that that sort of the behind the scenes, beneath the surface kind of staff. There's certainly a lot of movement going on, but as far as the name full-time assistants, haven't heard anything yet on that DL guy.
Right. The guy's name is Slackman, by the way. The department is pretty good about the names. The guy from Penn. Okay, so let me tell you about Titan MRI, one of our plan sponsors. There, of course, anytime you have a medical exam, it's never fun. If you can make it more convenient, easier, and handy, it's better. And that's what they're doing at Titan MRI. They made it possible for you to get in if you're from out of town, Gainesville, Ocala. And you can get in without having an appointment. You can call them, have the same day scheduling. Titan MRI, it's worth a short drive to Gainesville. There's no insurance, there's no problem. As I said, you pay with cash or card, same day scheduling. So start feeling better today about that, because Titan MRI is North Central Florida's premier independent MRI facility, making it much more convenient for you and very reasonable. Come see why hundreds of patients are visiting our Gainesville location from Ocala, Marion County, and the villages. That's TitanMRI.com. All right.
It's a free throw shooting contest now, which is not good.
Oh, no, that's not good. What is it now?
Well, I mean, they're up 6, but they're going to be fouled every time now, and I think that I just was checking the stat. They're 17 of 28 from free throws. All right, well, he made that one, so 18 of 20.
That's going to hurt him in the tournament. That's where you get hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt him all season. At first, Todd's we'll get it together, but we're another rainbow 3, man, Michigan, but. So in this kind of game where they're going to be a ton of games where they got hit free throws.
Yeah.
And so that's one area.
Yeah, for sure.
If they're going to really make a run.
Yeah, for sure. I think Lauren Meadows is standing by in the orange and blue room. He's up in Charlotte at the jump man. Before we do that, let's just say, I got to give kudos to Coach Spurrier. He is, we take him for granted, and I just want to say thank you to him. He did me a solid. I never ask for any special favors. I never do. I always just try to play it straight up. But I had a need for something today for a person whose father was very sick. And I called him up and asked him if he'd just give me something signed for me. And he said, sure, call up and remind the person down at either at the University of Florida or at the stadium to get the information together with this, and I'll sign it. Well, it slipped my mind. I was get ready to go. About 2 hours later, the phone rings, and it's Steve. said, "Did you ever send me that information I needed to have?" I was, oh, I'm sorry, Coach. He said, "Well, just give it to me." So he took the person's name, went and got the item signed and delivered it to this person who really, very much wanted to have this at this time. And I never try to prevail upon my relationships with coaches or players, but this was one that I really needed. He came through, and I'm very grateful. I just want to say publicly, thank you, Steve Spurrier, for being who you are. I appreciate it very much. All right, so let's go get Lauren.
It made that person's day or Christmas
or
whatever.
It made more than a day. It made the year. It made Christmas very special. You don't like to ask those favors for people unless it's special. Here's a special guy right here. He's up in Charlotte. He's hanging with Michael Jordan. He's got a Jumpman outfit on. Can you hear me, Lauren?
Yeah, I can hear
you. Well, what about this crazy game?
Yeah, well, looks like the Florida Gators going to go ahead and finish them off 106-101 with about 4 seconds left.
Yeah.
So, Walter, I think, pulling, hit a three to kind of extend the game, and, they kind of battled back and forth in the overtime, and it's been a nice game, man. People definitely got their money's worth.
Yeah, it was crazy there. Dave and I were talking about if they could shoot free throws, what would they be, My gosh, the free throws are going to come back to bite them in the butt later on this year. Free throws.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's going to be something that, Samuel, who had been pretty decent from the free throw line the last few games, struggled a little night. And then they failed to finish around the rim, at times too, which probably would have given them the edge. But, it's a good win, good team win. They fought it out. I think this will be a nice springboard, as they finish up.
Yeah. Lauren's got problems with his Wi-Fi. Go ahead, Lauren. Can you hear us? Finish. You were breaking up there. Nice win.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. Who impressed you tonight from Florida?
I mean, the usual suspects. I mean, I think, what didn't impress me was that Riley Kugel still kind of continues to struggle after such a great freshman year. Yeah. And, they kind of been leaning on both Pullen and Walter Clayton Jr., that backcourt combination. And then, like I said, again, I'm a big fan of Samuel, who
yeah, me too.
The Seton Hall transfer. So, he really impressed. I mean, kind of does a little bit of everything, and it showed tonight.
David, I'm a big fan of Riley Kugel's when he played last year. He's not the same player he was, David.
No, he's working. Yeah, he's working through some stuff. If they can get him back on track and playing like he was last year, and I mean, as you said, there's a lot of pieces here that it's just a matter of them figuring it out and coming together. But tonight, even though the backcourt played poorly or shot poorly, they found a way to win. And this, I mean, as Lauren said, this was the key win, I think, for the rest of December, because now you can envision them finishing out with going into this conference play. I think a 10-3 record and some momentum. And so I think that if you'd have told Todd Golden 2 months ago, this is how you'll be set up after, really what amounts to it's not a preseason, but it is a preseason in a way. Say, okay, I can take that. We're in pretty good shape going in now.
Yeah, Lauren, what's the matter with Walter Clayton? What's the matter with Walter Clayton?
What do you mean?
Well, he just doesn't see it. He's off his game.
I think it might be fatherhood.
I mean, it might be fatherhood, staying up. But no, I mean, like I said, he was off. But I mean, I thought late in the game he made some plays that were key, and I mean, it's just one of those things, man. When you get teams that are evenly matched, you're gonna have kind of a sloppy game sometimes. It's still early in the season. Both teams playing in an arena that they're not necessarily used to. And no, I think I mean, just just one of those things. You want to grind out these wins, and that's the main thing. I think you go home with what could be at least probably what they call like a quad 2 win.
Yeah.
On your resume, there's probably a quad 2, quad 3 win for for Michigan. I mean, for Florida, when they kind of look at Michigan throughout the year. And, I mean, I just, like I said, you got to get these. It's a midweek game, and I think coming off their last win and then going here, and with a winnable game against Grambling on Friday, I mean, they're starting to string together a few little wins, and that'll bode well once you get into the new year.
All right, Lauren, we'll let you go up to this, but David and I were talking about tomorrow's signing day. Could be a halfway decent bit for signing for class for Billy. He's not going to get all the pieces, but he's got looks like a lot of. What do you hear about that? And anything else you've heard about any coaching changes or prospects or anybody in the portal, Lauren?
Well, as far as recruiting, I think, they've kind of got most of the hay in the barn. Like Franz said last night, and I don't know, I've kind of been out of the loop today, but they've got opportunity to flip running back that was committed to Arkansas, Baugh, who's a pretty decent player, and could possibly grab a receiver. I can't remember the kid's name, but could be another receiver that they add. And then, I mean, it just kind of allows you to put some building blocks together. And then they got to go out and, get some growth. I think signing the safety out of Oregon is a step in the right direction. And, it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to be a long off season of a lot of questions. And as far as coaches concerned, I think you'll start to see the dominoes fall as the bulk of the bowl games get finished. And I would say one thing. People need to understand that just because you want somebody doesn't mean that they're going to come to Florida, because there is the question of what is Billy Napier's future at Florida. And if I'm uprooting my family and doing those kind of things, the money's better it's going to be better than a lot of other places. But, if I got wife and kids and things like that, I really got to look at what the future is. So, there's a lot of good coaches out there. It may not be a name that people want. I'm still skeptical on the offensive coordinator thing, but I guess I would tell people, as far as that's concerned, just be patient and see what, just let these bowl games fall away and things like that. And through Christmas and the new year, you'll start seeing some moving and shaking.
All right, Lauren Meadows from up in Charlotte. Jumpman, thank you. Good report. We're going to bring Franz here and catch up what else is happening. Thank you, Lauren. Good job, buddy. Appreciate it.
And one last thing, I'll tell people, and Franz can echo this. I think it's time for Florida Gator fans to really start paying attention to our women's basketball program as well. Kelly Ray Finley has done a great job recruiting. They'll be the first game out the gate tomorrow against Michigan. And, I think she's really, they had a big win, a huge win against Gardner Webb that increased their net ranking up like 33 points. So I think they're almost in the top 50. So, if some things come together, this could be a tournament team, which would be a big step for the women's team. So, some of you basketball fans, give the women's team a little look tomorrow night.
All right, Lauren, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right.
Lauren Meadows, Coach Meadows. Here's Coach Beard. What's up, Francis? What do you think? They pulled it out.
It's amazing how bad you can play and still win against a quality team. And Michigan's a quality team. I mean, the record is 6-6, but they beat a couple of quality teams their last two ball games in Eastern Michigan and Iowa, and won by double figures in both games. And they got Juwan Howard back as their head coach. He'd been out because of heart surgery. So, to come away with a win like this, in which you shoot badly, you can't hit free throws, you turn it over way too much, you make bad decisions, and yet when it comes down to crunch time, you come up with enough plays to win a game. They're fun. They're going to give Todd a heart attack early, but they're fun to watch.
David, go ahead.
No, I mean, he summed it up right, because if you'd have looked at the stat sheet, especially with that backcourt, you'd think, man, they should have gotten wiped out by 10, 12 points on this game. And this is a good resume enhancer game. And they really needed one of those, a win over a name team, a brand name team. And, I don't know what quad Michigan will be in by the end of the year, but a win over Michigan sure looks better than another. Oh darn, we shoulda, coulda, woulda beaten that team, because there've been a lot of those, too many of those. The fact that they pulled it out, and as we were yammering, you and I thought, well, we had that vibe that it just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, and then we looked over a 6-point run.
And I guess they hit a couple of threes, and suddenly they're up 6-8, and they hit just enough free throws there, down the stretch. But they're still, you get sort of that Shaq vibe when they get on the thing. Says, oh man, just cover it, just that's just mental. It's not that they can't shoot free throws. And the more you think about it, the less you need to think about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bringing a shrink, but that's something that they got to figure out. As this season progresses. But so far, you just don't see much improvement there.
Franz, what's with the guard play? You get two guys we like, Walter Clayton and Riley Kugel, and they're just not playing like they'll be playing.
Well, we say that, and yet they're not shooting the way we want them to shoot. And yet you look at them, they combined for 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 block shots, and 3 steals. They did a lot of stuff. They just didn't hit shots.
A lot of dirty work.
Kugel, particularly in the second half, I thought set the tone. And the way Kugel played defense, I mean, Kugel, people need to pay attention to what he does. He absolutely, positively gets it done on the defensive end. This guy, I'm going to tell you right now, this is an elite defender, not good. He is elite. You score on him, you've done something. You've really, really done something. And my gosh, he got it done tonight, and particularly in the second half. And if he doesn't play defense in the second half, when Todd had to stop the game, call a timeout, and just go in an F-bomb tirade, asking if somebody other than Riley Kugel could play defense, and it's hard to imagine. But look at, I want you to imagine take a look at these numbers for a second for the Gators. We had 10 block shots, 10 steals in the ball game, 54 rebounds, and yet it took double overtime to get there. That absolutely an amazing win, totally unsuspected.
Yeah, it's a nice win for her. That's one, like David said, will stand you in good stead down the way to win over a quality name brand like that. And one, I think the Florida program, I will say this, you're right about one thing. It's very promising. It's hard to see at this point in time. You also said Pullum would make a big difference on this team as a point guard. You're absolutely right about that. They're a lot better with him in there.
The freshmen are big guys, are very, very good.
Well, they are, aren't they? Rebounders.
Henlogton is getting better as he goes, and he's still not at 100% because after the sprained ankle, but he's getting better. And now you look, they've got some days off here. Today's the 19th. They're not going to play again for a week, and you got 2 games. They're going to win them both against Grumbling and Quinnipiac. I think that's how you pronounce it. David's smarter than I am. He would
Quinnipiac, the university with all the polls, the Quinnipiac polls. So
okay, all right, Quinnipiac. Okay,
I think that may be their nickname, the polls.
Anyway, those are 2 wins. This will be the first time since 2007, since December 2017, that they go into a new year with 10 wins. And that's impressive. And that's real progress for this team to do that. But prior to that, the last time they'd done that was the 2013-14 team that went to the Final Four. That was the last time before that they had 10 wins heading into January. So this is a big deal. This is big turnaround. I'm looking at this text here. Okay, I'm going to throw something at you guys, and this is what I am hearing from one of my buddies who is an Ohio State guy. Jermaine Smith will flip tomorrow. That's what the Ohio State people are saying.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, and the kid Jalen Bound, who was committed to Arkansas, is going to be a Gator too.
Running back.
Running back, cornerback, safety, linebacker, quarterback. He's wide receiver. He may be the best pure athlete out there. And he had been committed to Arkansas. He has pulled it. Everybody says he is 100% Gator. They're going to pull. I also believe that they're going to pull an offensive lineman that Alabama is really putting the full court press on, a guy named Favor Edwin, who is big guy. I look for 22, 23 guys in this signing class. I know that losing the kid from the 5-star kid is painful.
How do you say his name? Phil Samey? How do you say it?
Phil Samey.
Yeah, I've heard Phil Samey. Yeah,
Phil Samey.
Yeah.
If
Phil Samey hardly knew ye.
If we want to do a little East in London, Phil Samey. Okay.
But he gone.
Yeah.
But
there. You've been hearing about Smith. Yeah, those rumors for a couple weeks. But the question is, I don't think the surprise that he'll flip. But where does he flip to? Because you hear in UF, you're in FSU, and maybe Miami.
The Ohio State people are saying that he's going Florida. That's what they're saying.
Well, that would
huge.
Be
that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, because he is,
he's the guy. He's the number one recruiter.
Yeah, and if he comes, that is your Lagway effect in motion right there.
He spent more time down here visiting than Lagway has. Been down there about 5 times.
Yeah. Here's the thing: why Florida really stands the really good chance to get him. Florida's got the quarterback situation. You've got, FSU is talking about getting a 5th-year guy. Miami's talking about getting a 5th-year guy. Ohio State's talking about getting a 5th-year guy. Florida's got the 5th-year guy, but they got Lagway coming with him. Florida's got the best, and this is why my Ohio State buddies say he's going to be a Gator, because Florida's got the best quarterback situation of all the people who are in the market for him. Now, watch him pull a shocker and go something like Alabama. But
yeah. Well, that certainly makes sense, because when you do weigh it, I mean, you have no clue who's going to be FSU's QB next year, and same Miami's just been all over the place too. So I mean, and Florida, you figure at worst you're going to have Graham Mertz throwing to you next year, And down the road, you got, and after that, you got Lagway. So, any receiver, if you're in the market, I mean, that is a prime selling point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really and truly is. And you look at all the guys that are leaving Ohio State, leaving Georgia. I mean, Georgia's got 17 guys who have gone. I think Ohio State has 17 also, including their starting quarterback. We look at this and look at schedules, and everybody thinks, well, Florida's really going to be terrible next year, and they could be. They really could be terrible next year as far as record goes. But you look at what else going on with stuff in the portal and how we're looking at this is chaos. This is absolute positive chaos, and I'm not sure that anybody not named Nick Saban is sitting there thinking they've got it made next year. Nick Saban's got Milford coming back, and apparently Dallas Turner's coming back too. So that's, it's going to be really, really strange, though. The entire landscape, though, because of the portal, has changed. You realize right now only 20% of all the guys in the portal have found a new home?
Mm-hmm. And, and 50% probably may not, That's amazing. Where they will go, who knows? But, you hope that they thought this through before they threw their name in the portal.
You talk about Saban, there's a lot of strong rumors about Saban not retiring, a lot of strong, very strong.
Not retiring?
About retiring. There's a lot of strong rumors. It's not just your everyday kind of hacks. This is stuff that people of substance are talking about it.
I think there's two chances that happens. I think there's a better chance that you're going to be called back to finish out your eligibility in baseball to pitch for the Gators next year before Nick Saban.
Well, but both could happen. He can retire.
I'll go with Buddy. I'll go with Buddy being the weekend starter.
Yeah.
Before I see Nick.
Hey, Buddy is a Florida baseball letterman. I know a lot of people
remember that, right?
That.
Put that in your smoke. Put that in your smoking pipe.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'd be shocked if Saban, with how things are going, especially Georgia is obviously going to be there for the long haul, but this year I think sort of restored balance to the universe a little bit.
He did.
Yeah,
he sure did.
Here's the thing, the guys, that I think why Nick is not going to retire. He's got the same number of national championships at Alabama. Now, he's got 7 more than anybody else, but he has the same number of national championships at Alabama as that Bear guy. He was a pretty good coach in his day, you got to admit. Gets 1 more, he's got 7. If he's going to retire, it would have, I think, if there's any chance he's going to retire, it would have to be after winning another national championship. Now, if he does that, then what better way than to ride off into the sunset with a championship?
Yeah, I mean, that is the ultimate trump card when everybody from here to the end of time in Alabama debates, or Bear or Nick. If you can put up 7 versus 6, and I mean, and of course it's the same kind of argument. You have a generational thing. Who is better? DiMaggio or
Willie Mays or
Mike Trout
or Duke Snyder. There were 3 of them at one time in New York.
Well, we cannot forget Fielding Hurry Up Yost.
Yes, but just the fact that we're having this conversation. I was born in Alabama, and when Bear was the king, and it would be like it'd be unfathomable for anybody to think that anybody could even tug on his cape. And here comes Nick Saban doing it. I mean, he will never. I mean, because Bear, given the time and where it came about, and the evolution and the cultural moments that he brought to Alabama, he will never be replaced in their hearts, but in their heads, Bama fans, I think they say, man, that Saban, and doing it in this era, where when Bear was doing it, you probably had 10 teams you had to worry about, and I mean, God knows you didn't need a, we make fun of Billy needing 120 people. I think you do need at least 100 people these days to keep track of everything, with the way between now the NIL and portal have entered the things, I mean, Bear. I think he signed 70. I remember one year I was reading it. They signed 77 guys to a scholarship one year, and that was probably just typical.
Yeah, but that was because they also just want to keep them from going someplace else.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry, and God knows you didn't have to worry about re-recruiting them. They were there for 5 years.
Well, the people who used to love it were the people in Division II, because you didn't have Division I AA, and the guys in Division II who won national championships. You look at there was a period of time there from 60 to say about 1979 when just about every Division II national champion was loaded up with Alabama guys, because up until I think it was 73 when they put in scholarship restrictions, he'd sign. He had 1 year. You were right about one thing. He had 1 year when he signed 90 guys.
Wow. Yeah.
90 guys. The freshman team was 90, And of course, you also look at the rosters when they were one platoon football. and you'd see 33 guys on the varsity, you know. You didn't need more than 33 because it was one platoon football. But boy, when they went two platoon, and that was the death knell for Ole Miss and people like that. I would have to say for Bob Nealon was two platoon football. Wouldn't you say, buddy?
Yeah. That was awful. Two platoon football. I lived through it. Let's go to bed with a warm fuzzy thought tonight. Mine is the Gators won a big basketball game against a named school tonight. It's a big win right now going to the holidays, as Franz says. This basketball team looks very promising. Big win tonight for Florida in Charlotte. I think that's a nice thought to go to bed on. What you got, David?
Oh, that's about as good of a present. Except, actually, the ultimate present would be if Franz's predictions come true tomorrow and they flip the number one player and the wide receiver, then it will give this offseason a very much nicer sheen for Florida fans, because that will jump them back up to the top five, and I think it'll give them a jolt of optimism that's been severely lacking for the last couple months.
They're Franz. I don't think it's even Franz. Somebody else brought it up. Franz, take it home. Yeah.
Well,
take it home, Franz.
Well, you got to remember, we are a basketball school after all. You know, especially now when we've won more basketball games, 7 right now, 8 right now actually, than the football team won this year, which was 6. So, you know, we can officially declare ourselves a basketball school.
There you go.
We got a good thing going with basketball. I like what Todd Golden has done. And if you think we're big this year, wait till next year when the 7'6" kid from IMG comes in.
I can't wait to see that.
And all I can tell you is this: I think we're going to be in for, even if they don't get Jeremiah Smith, if they get Bound and a couple of these other guys, it's going to be a top 7, top 8 class no matter what. And I think that's real progress. That's a jump of 5 spots in the recruiting rankings. Now, if Florida people are going to be patient, that's another question altogether different. Yeah. But I think that we're going to see progress tomorrow, at least on the recruiting trail.
All right, guys, great job. Thank you, Franz. Thank you, David. A good hour there. Appreciate it. You guys stay well. If I don't talk to you before then, have a very Merry Christmas. All right?
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, Bud Light.
All right. David and Franz bringing it to you tonight, folks. Hope you enjoyed the program. We broadcast from our remote studio here, and we'll be here all week and maybe beyond. We'll see. So have a good night, Francis. Thank you very much. And let us tell you, first of all, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast when you see it here on our program. Just subscribe to it. It helps us a lot when you subscribe to it. And continue to do that. Thanks for your support. Thanks to our sponsors, of course, Meldon Law, Titan MRI, and these folks who are going to talk about here next. Restar Medical Research. Hope you folks have a good week. Happy holidays to everyone. Big win for the Gator basketball team. It's nice to go to bed with some good news from the Gator Nation, isn't it? Yeah. I want to remind you of some other good people. Restar Medical Research folks over there have been doing this for a long time, supporting this program. They're a high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility right there in downtown Ocala. They're good stewards of the community. They bring cutting-edge clinical research trials to Ocala in areas like Alzheimer's disease, dementia, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraines, and fibromyalgia, along with many other things that we have in our community. We'd like to participate in some of their clinical research trials, because that data all goes up to the major pharmaceutical and biomedical companies on ways to have us have a healthier living. And they've held over 700 of these clinical research trials since they started back in 1998. That's Restar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Brendan Martin will be back tomorrow, hopefully, and all the best to you folks out there. Thanks for participating in the program. Thanks to Franz and to Lauren Meadows and to David Whitley. Back tomorrow night, hopefully with David Bolton and maybe Ali Peake Wilbur. Have a good night, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, again, from the remote location on assignment. Buddy Martin Show.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best.